Now, we had Robbie Gold on the show today, but he doesn't have a nickname like this guy. Martin Gramatica, Automatica with us here. And I thought this would be a real treat for Adam Hogue because we do a little
I
Mr.
can talk
Special
kicking.
Teams.
I'm ready.
But so I just want to ask the question that's always fascinated me. You sit there and wait and have to hold all that anxiety, and then it's your moment, and you got to perform. To me, that's just a crazy, job description. How did you get your mind right to be able to be as successful as you were?
Well, it's basically your emotions are like a roller coaster because you're sitting there relaxed. If you're not even in field goal range, then you kind of just sit there and watch the game. Now, when you get in field goal range, you start focusing and get your mind right. And the thing with kicking, though, there's no in between. You either make it or miss the kick. So that's why. And the other thing that I always like to tell people is that you're either employed or unemployed. There's no backup kickers. So that's why the pressure is high. But I mean, you get used to it. It's part of what we do.
Okay, I get the getting used to it part a little bit, but right, you're either employed or you're not employed. That's a big difference in your life. That's a big difference in your bank account. So how did you get yourself like, I'm not going to care if you missed one, which you didn't miss many, but if you did, how were you able to learn how to drop it?
For me, I had, I was drafted, so I had that pressure. So I always put that pressure on myself that I have to live up to the expectations of being drafted in the third round. So I was like, I can't miss. Growing up as a soccer player, I would work out with a team. So that's one of the things I think where I gained the respect of my teammates in the offseason. I would spend the whole offseason working out with them. So if anything went wrong, I always had the support of my coaches and teammates because they knew it wasn't because I was being lazy or I wasn't there. So for me, that was a huge part of giving me that confidence to know, okay, if things could go wrong, and things will go wrong eventually, but at least I have the support of my teammates because I'm always there with them.
It seems like an obvious question because obviously soccer, you're kicking the ball, but there's so many kickers that come up now that do play soccer. Right. They kind of avoid the football, not like they're doing it on purpose, but they don't necessarily play football till maybe even high school. Or some of these guys are like this punter out of Iowa just picked it up relatively recently, and he's probably going to get drafted this year. How does playing soccer help these kickers get to the point where a lot of them end up in the NFL eventually?
I would think that every kicker in the NFL has had a little bit of a soccer background, it's your kicking technique because it's not something natural for our body to do. So once you can kick a soccer ball and you get used to kicking a soccer ball, then you can transition over. And a lot of kids are making that switch now because there are more scholarships for kicker than there are soccer. Soccer, they give you that false hope that you're going to get a scholarship. The scholarships go to the European and South American kids. Our American kids, unfortunately, just a small amount get the scholarship, not many. So now they figure, okay, if I go to the kicking route, there's a better opportunity. So that's why you see a lot more kickers now, or a lot more soccer players transition over to be kickers.
Would you like to see them move back kickoffs to wherever it needs to be so we can actually see kickoffs versus guys today they boom it out of the end zone?
But the thing is, the NFL wants to protect the players, and that's why they want the touchback. It makes it more of a boring game because, Devin Hester wouldn't be in the Hall of Fame right now if he was playing now because he wouldn't be able to return any balls. Yep. And so we're missing out on a lot of these returners that could potentially be Hall of Famers. We'll never know because we can kick it. And the other thing, I don't know, the K-ball rule made a big difference too. Throwing it back and then using brand new balls. There's no way, even if you kick a brand new ball now, you're still not going to kick it as deep as these guys. They're kicking it out of the end zone every time. So it's, but they're also training different. My son's a kicker now. He's going to USF, and his training is totally different than the way I train. It's more specific. They're stronger. They're more flexible. So that makes a big difference as well.
That's interesting that the training's changed. Before it was more precise. Am I hearing it that right?
No, before it was basically one workout for everybody. So I did the same workout pretty much that a lineman did, obviously a lot less weight, where now it's more position specific. So he's doing more explosive stuff, more flexibility stuff. So when I see the ball explode off my son, I'm just watching, for example, my son now at 17 years old. I'm like, there's no way I would ever even kick a ball that far when I was 17 just because I didn't have the training. Now they have the training. You see, if a guy misses a 58-yarder, they're like, oh, how did he miss that? They're expecting you to make 58-yarders, where before, if you 40 and in, you had to make everything. If you made a 50-plus, they're like, man, that's a huge kick. Now it's like a routine.
Right, no problem. 55. Justin Tucker can make it from 78. It's insane. You have anything more?
What was the mindset when you had a returner back there that you knew? Because look, Chicago's all hoping Devin finally gets the call this week. I think that's the hope, but and he was, in our opinion, the best to ever do it. But when you're out there and you're about to kick the ball off, What was just the mindset knowing that, like, hey, if this ball isn't struck perfectly the right way, this could be a touchdown?
Well, that's it. First of all, I didn't want to have to deal with that because then it would be a touchdown, and then I'd have
And you
to
never
go-
want to make the tackle either.
Well, I tried. Well, see, I have a broken rib that I still sticks out, and it was against Chicago. My best tackle of my career was against the Bears, but then one of my teammates hit me with his helmet and breaks my rib. So I'll remember that tackle for the rest of my life. But if you kick it to Devin Hester, forget about it. If you miss hit it and he gets it on the run, it's over. But then the worst part about that is that you got to walk to the sidelines, and then I have a special teams coach, a head coach to look at why did you kick it to him. So you prefer to kick it out of bounds than to kick it to him. So
Who was the tackle on?
I don't remember. I'm not going to say Devin Hester because I don't think it was, but I can't remember who it was. But I do remember my teammate, and I know which one teammate it is. I still remind him every time because my rib still hurts.
We're going to YouTube to look it up. Martin, appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Automatica.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Yeah, no problem. Thank you, guys.
We all silly like the mayor.